Hello everybody and welcome to episode 9 of AndersMillknits. I'm your host Emily, and as you've already heard, Watson is with us, intent on making himself known. And we're back in my living room. I think this is going to be the spot from now on. You can find me on Ravelry as aka Millie, and on Instagram as aka Millie907. And that does not look too good, so let's go back. There we go. I'm wearing my new Pendleton sweater that my husband got me on our latest adventures, and let's just say I've been wearing it non-stop. So it's very pretty. Oh, that's nice. Sorry. Like how I'm showing that off. But I want to welcome everybody who are returning viewers, and all of you who are new to the podcast. Thanks so much for coming and checking us out, and I really hope that you stick around. I am really loving everybody that I'm meeting because of the podcast, but also I'm noticing that I'm solidifying, I think is the word I want to use, friendships that I had previous to the podcast, but have really just been flourishing since then. I noticed that some of my online friends are reaching out to me some more, and as a result, I'm feeling more confident in reaching out to other people. Oftentimes, I don't know about everybody else, but oftentimes when it's social media, I kind of feel like what I have to say is silly, and so I don't really want to post words or leave comments to other people's posts. And I'm finding that as I'm reaching outside of myself and actually doing that, that it's not so silly, and I'm really enjoying everybody's company and feedback and the conversations that are cropping up, and I am just so incredibly excited by my friends near and far. Just yeah, it's great. Anyway, before we get going with the rest of the podcast, just a reminder that we do have a Ravelry group, which is called AndersMillknits. AndersMillknits podcast on Ravelry. And please go over there and join it. And if you haven't subscribed yet to the YouTube channel, please do, right down below. When we reach 100 subscribers, which I do believe we're getting close, on the YouTube channel, then I will be giving away a skein of hand-spun yarn. And then also we have one cal going on right now, one knit along, and that is our monthly one that we redo every month. So this one's the January double dip cal, in which if you go onto our Ravelry group, you'll see all the details about how to enter and what are the requirements. So I won't get into all of that now, but we've got a really cool prize, which I forgot to bring in, so why don't I pause this and go grab that. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So the prize that we have for this month, the month of January, is a kit that I got a few years ago from Knit Picks. And it's to make your own sock monkey guy. I love his grandpa sweater. I think that's what sold it for me. And I really did want to knit this, and I still do, honestly, but I've had this in my stash for probably 5 years, I'm guessing. I'm really bad with time frames. I'm sorry, that was my work computer. Let me put that on silent. How do I do that, actually? And go, no, come back. No. Okay. No! I'm really bad at this. Okay, there we go. It's on silent now. So, I got this about 5 years ago from Knit Picks, and I really wanted to knit it, but it never happened. And I don't know that it ever will. So I want it to go to a new home, somebody who will actually enjoy it. I mean, actually knit it. I enjoy it perfectly fine. And I want you to know that I've been going through my stash, and I picked out some really cool stuff to give away for the next couple months. But that's not to say that if you are a maker of bags, yarn, a yarn dyer, stitch markers, anything, and you want to contribute to the giveaways, I would dearly love that. And everybody who participates would greatly appreciate it. And it's a great way to get your name out there. But don't get me wrong. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, don't do it. Because you are putting your hard work, your extra time outside of your family, your regular job, and everything else into making these items. And if you don't want to, kind of give it away for free, don't do it, okay? But I do want you to know that if you are interested in doing that, you can contact me via Ravelry or via the podcast. You can email me at AndersMillknits@gmail.com. So, on the note of the giveaways and things, I had an interesting experience this last 2 weeks. Our good friend on Ravelry of the group and the podcast, Avita, in India, she won last month's giveaway. And I was so excited. So where's my skein? Here. So here's my skein, which, I know. I haven't gained it up yet. Oh, that's a good shot. Yeah. Friends in Fiber. This is their Tweety base. And actually, that's not what it's called, but I don't know what happened to the tag. I'm going to have to find that. I intend to make my father-in-law some fingerless mitts out of this, but I haven't gotten to that yet. She won that, and she lives in India. And I've never shipped internationally, which is kind of sad, seeing as my brother's lived in Hungary for the past couple of years and now lives in Canada. I should have shipped him something, but I haven't. So I went out and I attempted to, and I failed because they wanted $104. That was the cheapest I could find to ship to India. And I felt like such a heel. I felt like such a horrible person to sit there and say that I would send something to somebody and then, like, just honestly financially not be able to do it. Because, I don't get anything out of doing this podcast financially anyway. I get a lot out of it emotionally and self-care wise. So I had to go back to Avita, and I emailed her or PM'd her and let her know, I am so sorry, but I can't follow through with my commitment. However, I found a solution. And I offered her that I would gift her a pattern or a group of patterns, anything that equals $10 US on Ravelry. And then I didn't hear from her for a couple of days, and I was like, oh no, she doesn't like me anymore. But no, what was happening was Avita was ingenious, and she found a way to get it to her because she really wanted that yarn, and she deserves it. So she has a friend who lives here in the United States who's actually coming to visit her at the end of January. And so I shipped it to this friend who is now taking her the package. What a wonderful ending, right? I can't do that for everybody, right? That's not going to happen. We're not going to have this great lineup of sequence of events for everybody around the world. We have people in Tasmania, in Australia, in Europe, in Indonesia, in the Middle East, all around the world watching the podcast. And I want you guys to win prizes too. So what I've come up with is to continue with that idea that I had for Avita, which is that if you're an international winner, I will gift you one or a combination of up to $10 US of patterns on Ravelry. And I'm sorry that it won't ever be the package, the actual physical prizes. And you all deserve it. But, wow. Whew. Short of sitting here begging you all to send me money, and I don't know how to go about even creating a way in which you guys could send me money regularly, like some of the other podcasters do. I've never looked into that, and honestly right now, especially right now, since we're so new to this, that just feels really not appropriate, Some of these other podcasters have huge followings and followings, and they've been around for a long time, and honestly, yeah, it makes sense that they would have it. But it doesn't make sense for me to have that. So maybe someday. But for right now, this is a solution that I came up with, and I hope you guys are all going to be okay with that. And I've adjusted the notes in the Ravelry group to correspond with this decision. In other news, I was wondering how people would feel about having a virtual knit night. I've heard of these things. I've never done it, and I don't know if this would be like a Periscope thing. I've never used Periscope. Or if this would be like a Google Hangout thing. But I know that the closest knit group that I have to me is 15 miles away, and I can't ever seem to make it because it's always in rush hour traffic, and by the time I make it there, they're more than halfway over. And then plus it's on Tuesday nights in which my husband always has something planned for us, and so I really don't like taking away from him and that. So I was thinking that if we could set up a virtual knit night, problem solved, right? Because I would really like to knit in community. Like, I knit out in the community all the time, but I never have the opportunity to knit with other knitters. And I really like to do that, you know? So let me know what you guys all think. I'll start another thread, I guess, on the Ravelry group with this topic, and we'll have a conversation about it and figure out if there's a night or a day that works for everybody, and we'll set something up, hopefully in the near future. Okay? All right, so done with the administrative stuff. So now on to the reviewing notes. There's going to be a lot of pictures at the end of this podcast, and maybe a few little videos. Because my husband surprised me this last week. We had a huge snowstorm here in the Portland area, and, well, huge for them anyway, not for me. But they got, in some places I don't know if this is true or not, but I hear that people got a couple feet of snow. Here in Wilsonville, we got probably about 4 to 6 inches, but it shut down the entire community. And people just didn't go to work, and because they just couldn't. So luckily I work from home, so I was able to continue bringing in the moolah, as it were. But my husband was out of work because he's construction, and so he can't exactly do that in the snow right now with the snowstorm going on. So by the end of day one, I'm sitting there working away, and all of a sudden my husband comes in, and he's like, "So, how would you like to go away this weekend?" I was like, have you looked outside? And he's like, well, if we can make it out of the city, why not? And I'm going to be out of work for the whole rest of the week. Why not get down to the ocean? So I got really excited, but I was like, okay, I really have to concentrate on work. So why don't you plan this and we'll just go for it. So we did. And we went down to Seaside for, let's see, a 3.5 day weekend, I guess you would say. And it was such a blast. And it was so peaceful. We explored and explored, and I finally got to experience Seaside outside of work. I got to eat where the locals eat, and oh my gosh, I found my new favorite place down there. It's called the U Street Pub. And the Osprey Cafe is just down actually it's only like 2 buildings down, and I really liked them too. So those 2 places, I'm going to be going for food in the future when I'm down there. But, and we had romantic times and walked on the beach holding hands. We giggled a lot and laughed a lot. My husband took us out. There's this portion of the beach where you can actually drive out with your car. And we had been so busy on the one day that we were able to do this that by the time we got to it, the sun had set. But it was like another world, driving on the sand, on this beach, like in the middle of the night. And we stopped at one point and got out of the car, and it was freezing. But we got out of the car and we were giggling and chasing each other with Watson, and then we looked up at the stars and our breaths just caught. It was so gorgeous. And it's just moments like that where you become, yet again, you fall in love again with our world, And and the majestic hand that created it. And so that's what we experienced. We had a lot of food. We ate a lot of good food. You'll see a picture of my favorite that I had for the whole weekend. But I won't be going back to that restaurant because it was ridiculously expensive, and I won't even actually be advertising what restaurant it was because there were a few things that we weren't very happy about there. Like, never mind, I won't get into it. But they did have an amazing caprese salad, which is one of my all-time favorite salads, or foods, period, with heirloom tomatoes, and oh my gosh, it was so delicious. Like, everything just kind of like melted in your mouth. You didn't really even have to chew. Everything was just so soft and tender. And the seasonings were just right. So that's gonna be there. And then we went exploring on another beach that I had found, which I was calling my secret beach, but turns out it's not really a secret beach. But you know, I'm gonna keep saying that. So out in Gerhardt. And we went exploring and walking all over, and we found not one, not two, but 8 sand dollars. And here they are right here. I have them down in here. Oh, actually, okay, this is what I'll do. This is the biggest one we found. And I had never in my life found a sand dollar before that's whole. I've always found lots of broken ones, right? But here is a real one. And one of my friends on Instagram mentioned that she had never seen one of these before in her entire life. She never even heard of them before. So these are little sea urchins. So they live inside right here. And they survive, and right now these are full of sand. You know what I'm surprised about? Why there isn't pearls inside these? I don't know. Anyway. But when they die, you find them on the beach. I'm assuming they're dead. Please just don't burst my bubble if they're not dead. I couldn't handle that. And usually because they're so fragile, that usually the breaking of the waves and them getting to the beach breaks them up. So finding them is very hard. Well, at least I'm saying it is. And this is a really pretty one. I really like this one. Anyway, so it's really hard to find them. But my husband and I discovered like a treasure trove. And we could have gone on and found lots more, but we thought 8 was a fair number. So we brought those home, and Watts in here thought every time we found one, he got really, really excited and would race over, and he would pounce on one of the broken ones and bring the broken one back to us, and we'd be like, so cute. Like he was recognizing, you know, things that were similar to what we were finding and trying to help. It was adorable. We really loved that. So we did that, and then we went to the fort that's there, Fort Stevens? I'd have to ask my husband. That's there in Warrenton. It was a fort built in the Civil War, and it was never actually, wait, I might be misspeaking that it was never truly used for defense, but I might have that wrong. But anyway, it was in use up to and through the World War II, and so we went and we explored all of the surroundings and the ruins there. And I didn't include this in my blog. I don't know if I'll include some of the pictures here, but it was pretty darn amazing. And then we went on to Astoria, and because we had spent so much time at the fort, we didn't have very much time in Astoria, and I've always wanted to go to Astoria. And so I was a little bit irritable because I was like, oh, I want to go to Astoria so bad. And, but we got there in just enough time to climb the column, which is 106 steps up, literally a spiral staircase all the way up on top of this hill that overlooks Astoria. And now this column was built to commemorate, I believe, see, I'm gonna get things wrong, but to commemorate the railroad getting there, so spanning the continent, right? And because this is on the seaside as well. And so we got up there and we took some amazing pictures, and oh my gosh, was I exhausted. But I have a really bad leg, because I don't know if some of you know, but I had cancer, and so I don't have one of my main muscle groups in my thigh, the big one, you know. And so I'm still agile, I can still do a lot of things, but stairs and hills, especially coming down those things, really does a number on my bad leg. By the time we got down from that column, my bad leg was just, I could feel it. It was just like literally like jelly. Like I could feel it shaking, the muscles just quaking. But that's okay. We still went on, and we went across the bridge over into Washington, and that thing scared the living bejesus out of me, because just so you know, I am scared of bridges. And really, honestly, I have a large fear of bridges, but I'm always determined to go over them. And then we returned and we went to a really cool pub, and I've forgotten the name of it. See, this is bad. I have such a horrible memory. Urgh. But we had really good food. I had mac and cheese with bacon and onions in it, and my husband had a little personal sized pizza, which he thought was delicious. And then we headed back, and by that time it was pitch black, and we talked about our hopes and dreams. We made some plans about our financial future and some goals, and held hands as we drove, and we had a great time. We got home and put everything away and hit the set because we were exhausted. And by that time it was like 11 o'clock at night. We wrestled every little spare moment of freedom from that weekend. So yesterday we had some friends over last night and had a good conversation, but we just called it quits early because we were so tired. So today's my first day really truly getting back into like my knitting mojo and everything that's going on. Yesterday was full of work and stuff. So speaking of knitting, why don't we get into that, shall we? And let's see, am I gonna pause it? No, I'm not gonna pause it. Let's talk about knitting. Okay, so case notes. So you guys may recall that in the last episode I had cast on a hat, and it was called the Jella hat, or it is called the Jella hat, and I'd wrestled with it. I cast this on Christmas Day, and things weren't going right. I had to recast on like 3 or 4 times before I finally got it right. And once I did, this thing just flew off the needles. I think I finished this like maybe 2 days after I last podcasted, and I've worn it quite a lot. However, I will note this. I don't know why this is happening, but for some reason, see how stretchy that is? So I'm not understanding why this is happening. I put it on, and I continuously have to pull it down over my ears. It keeps creeping up. So I won't model it for you, because whatever. If I mess up my hair, I mess up my hair. That looks terrible. Okay, that all looks terrible. Never mind, people. We're not doing this. But I'll put in a picture here of what I do look like when I'm not looking kind of weird. Because it does take a lot for me to put a hat on and style it, because I don't know, there's something about the shape of my head. I have to have hair showing, because otherwise it reminds me of when I had cancer, and I'm just saying, I don't want to be reminded of that when I wear a hat. But anyway, it's beautiful. Look at those colors. And so this, let's see. This one right here is Dancing Dog Dye Works in the Sugar Plum Fairy colorway. And then the turquoise is by Tumbleweed Yarn. And this is in the Acapulco, there we go, light colorway. And I'm not sure why it's called light, because I don't know, maybe this was a flub. But this is a lovely hat, and I'm getting a lot of use and wear out of it, so that's wonderful. Now, I have a big surprise for you. I finished something that I've been complaining about to you guys for a while now. I finished my Pure Joy shawl, and I can't get it all on screen. So there's the end. And now I won't say that knitting this was pure joy, but I did knit this intentionally as my New Year's resolution. And I will say this, it's beautiful. It's going to be even more beautiful, once it's blocked out. That's not bad. And what's even better is that this goes with everything in my wardrobe pretty much. Or I'll make it go, because I don't care. I'm going to be wearing this a lot. I have a feeling this is going to become a staple. So I finished this while I was in Seaside. So I knit this with one of my favorite commercial bases of yarn, which is the Ella Rae Lace Merino. And let's see, I don't know the colorway names, but one of the colors is LM-56 and the other color is LM-67. So there's like a navy blue, and then, oh, I've been showing this to you guys backwards. This is the correct way to show you. See, when it looks good both ways, you know that that's a good pattern. Might have been, not have been, it was really well written and everything. It's just, I thought I needed something like this to cleanse my palette after lace knitting, but I guess I don't really. I should just keep going with my more challenging project, because this is great. So I still have to weave in the ends because I didn't bring any needles with me when I was down there, so I gotta do that, and then I gotta block it, which I will do this afternoon, and then that is going on my shoulders for the rest of the winter. So that is what I have for case notes. All right, so in session. You guys are gonna be very surprised, and I'm quite proud of myself. This is one of my bags from AndersMillknits. We're defunct, so you can't purchase these things anymore. But, so this is one of my leftovers. So, not only do I have a completed sock for my husband's by the bed socks, and yes, that is very long. It's like, it's as long as, yeah, it is. It's literally as long as my forearm. His foot. You know you love somebody when. But not only do I have that, but I have sock number 2 all the way down to the toe. So, what I said I was going to do. Let's see if I probably didn't mention all of this. So what I did was, I'm knitting these on US size 2.5 millimeter. Now this is sport weight, so that's making a really nice dense fabric. 56 stitches around, and that's for a man, mind you. 2x2 ribbing all the way down the cuff, and then I did a fishless kiss heel. So what I did though, because my husband has a higher arch and you know, kind of like fatter ankles, you know, thicker, you know. So what I did was when I got to that prep area before the fish lips kiss heel, is I actually increased every other row 2 stitches just on the back here. So I had an extra 4 stitches to do the actual heel. And when my husband tried this on, it fits him like a sock. It's just, he loves the fit. So I think that's really solved my problem. And then on top of that, I continued with the 2x2 rib down the front of the sock. And then I stopped that once I got to the toe. Now the toe was not one of my greatest moments as a knitter. I don't know. I'm trying it differently this time. So my husband said it was a little tight and a little short. So I ripped it out and had to rejoin some yarn so I could knit some forward and stuff, and it's kind of a little wonkadoo, but he says it's fine. So what I did on this one is I actually knit 2 more rows before I started the toe, and then now what I'm doing is I'm just for the first 3 decreases, 3 rounds, no, I think I'm only doing it with 2. Yeah, so I'm gonna decrease 1 round, and instead of knitting my 2 rest rows like I normally do, I'm knitting 3 rest rows, and then I'm decreasing, knitting 3, and then after that I'm gonna switch to my decrease 1 row, rest 2 rows. Does that make sense? Until I have 16 stitches on each needle. So on needle on the front and back. Wow, that's black yarn, so you can't really see. And then I'll Kitchener it closed, and we'll be done. I really wanted to have this completed for you guys to see, but when we were driving home from Astoria, it was pitch black, and I can't knit on black yarn in pitch black night as well, so that did not happen. But this is being knit on online yarn. There's the colorway. I'm hoping you can read that. But yeah, this is their Super Sock. Their Super Sock, which I believe is discontinued. But there's a couple places online that you can still get it. And I actually intend on getting a couple more skeins of this if I can, because there's a couple people that I think, like my mom, I'd like to knit her a pair, but in, you know, a more feminine color. And so I'm gonna do that. And then I knit a whole 2 rows on this, so it counts. My Lewis sweater, which it's an oldie but a goodie. Literally an oldie. I cast this on in 2013, so about 3-4 years ago. This is a sleeve, believe it or not. It's supposed to be, you know, voluminous. So just a reminder, I don't have them with me at the moment. I don't know where I put them, but I have the back and the front done. If you want to see all of that, you can go back to episode 1 and I talk about it. But this is a free pattern from Knitty, and I really love the finished product, and I really want the finished product, so I'm gonna get it. So what I've decided is that now this is going to be my focus knitting, because and so I've got lots of yarn left. I've still got 3 skeins of my green left, so that should be plenty. But you know, this is a voluminous sweater knit on light fingering yarn, and I hate the needles, but I've got a solution for that, and I'll show you that in Toolbox. So this is knit on, I don't know, did I write this down? Let's see, what am I knitting this on? US size 4 needles. Ooh, that's gonna be a problem. Oh well, I still have a solution if I choose to. And this is in one of my Fat Squirrel Speaks sweater bags, which I love. I love the orange on this. See if you put it next to the turquoise. Look at that. Yeah. Yum, 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 yum. So, we've got that going. And then, finally, we have a brand new cast on. And it's so big that I decided to put it in my Rose City Yarn Crawl tote bag that I got a few years ago. And this is a special one. So, this is so funny because this is the year of knitting intentionally, which means that if I cast something on, I really, really need to either want that, find a purpose for that, the technique is intriguing me, you know, something, like there has to be a lot of intent behind that. And when I first saw this pattern and it was getting a lot of hype on Ravelry and Instagram, the social medias, I was just like, it's a lot of hype. But the more I looked at it, the more I looked at the pattern itself, the more I listened, watched, observed people and the construction of this item, it just intrigued me so much. And so yeah, I drank the Kool-Aid. And this is a different kind of Kool-Aid because it's not like the Pure Joy Kool-Aid where I'm already regretting it. Like, as in, like, within the first night of casting on the Pure Joy, I wasn't exactly enjoying it, you know? This one I'm enjoying. And so I cast on the Find Your Fade shawl. There you go. And I'll insert a picture here of my color sequences that I found in my stash and in my scraps. And I cast on with a scrap from a pair of socks that I knit for my mom, but I never recorded it on Ravelry. I have a tendency not to do that. I'm trying to be really good. I figure I probably have at least double the amount of projects completed than what is recorded on Ravelry, because I am so bad at that. But it's such a beautiful yarn! And yeah, I know, everybody talks about it. It does look like unmentionables for men or women, but it's gorgeous and I love it. And I've been hoarding the last of this because I have no idea what it is. And I want it. Like, it was so hard to give my mom those socks when I finished them, because this is just gorgeous, right? It's got pinks and purples, a little bit of peach, and these, oh, this beautiful, vibrant green in it. Oh, I just love it. And pops of white. Very unexpected pops of white. It's just lovely. And then, so I'll take you through my sequence really quick. In fact, let me go to my picture here so that I don't mess this up. So that's a mystery skein. And then I really enjoyed my Lolo Did It socks. Wait, is this? Hold on. This is Yarn and Fiber Company in the graffiti colorway. So, okay. So so let's put this back in there. So it's gonna go color number 1 fades into color number 2. Then I got my my luscious Dream in Color cashmere. That's gonna come in. Then I'm gonna put down those two because I can't do this. Then we're going to come in with some leftovers from Knitted Wit. This is called the Madge colorway. So it's gonna go into that. And then I'm gonna incorporate one of my newest acquisitions, which is the Madeline Tosh that I got for Christmas in the Outlander colorway. Then, okay, so we got these two. Then I have this skein of yarn here that I was trying to knit a pair of socks for my bestie out of. And it's by Moon Rover, and I love this yarn. And this is called Stalagmite colorway. Moon Rover, Wild Base. Come on. But when I was knitting the socks were just an utter fail. Just an utter fail. My gosh, this is really hard to open for some reason. There, got it. Moon Rover socks, wild. It says here, approximately 420 yards, 4 ounces, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows that. In the Stalagmite colorway. And, hold on guys, because I gotta put this back in so I don't lose this tag like I lost the other one for the number 1. Okay, so we have these two, right? Going from, right? Then going into this. And ending with another one of my coveted skeins. This one is from Blissful Knits. She's a local dyer to me, and actually she goes to the knit night that I used to attend on Tuesday nights, but I'm having trouble getting to. And this is called the Hemingway colorway. So Blissful Knits. I think she's online. I bought this at a show, but I love it. I was contemplating adding some more solids in, but you know what? I just, doesn't need solids. So I've got 7 skeins here, and I'm really happy with my choices. I'm really happy that I didn't go out and buy anything, and that I'm knitting all from stash on this. And the way that I arranged everything, I should use up most of that yarn. And what I do have left over, I have plans for, which I'll talk about some other day, I think. But I am knitting these on US size 4 knitting needles. And now that I've told you what size, let's go into toolbox, shall we? Because this is my newest acquisition. I had some gift cards for Christmas. And so I decided to splurge, and I got myself the newest and greatest knitting needle set from Knitter's Pride, called the Melody Life set. And I'm a pianist, so had to do it. But I love this. Everything is color coordinated. I've got the number 4s out. It goes from 4 to size, I think it's 11. Yeah, size 11. And it comes with a bunch of, this is the carrying case. I think I'm probably going to take everything out of the big box and put it into this carrying case, because that'll be a lot easier. But it comes with all of these, comes with a whole bunch of doodads, honestly. But each cord length is a different color. So I believe this is a 32 inch, and that's what I've got right now on my number 4s, is 32 inch, so it's orange. Then the 16 inch, I believe, is the green, and I believe this is the 40 inch, the red. So we got that. But I had a little extra money left over from my gift cards, so I went ahead and ordered with this an extra set of the cords, because I always find that I never seem to have enough cords in my life. So hold on, guys, I'm messing this up. Okay, so let's see if I was right on what I assumed. So orange, this is the 32 inch, so I was right. Got another orange. I got, yep, red is 40 inch. Let's see. Oh, green is 24 inch. Then I got 20 inch in blue. And finally, a 16 inch in kind of this goldy yellow. So, like, I'm set. I have nothing to worry about. So this is the Knitter's Pride Melody Life set, and they use the join is the same as usual. They have that little rod that goes through the hole here, and you tighten things up. And I just want to point out that this join, it's just beautiful. Like, I don't have to worry at all. Nothing's catching. Nothing. And there's what's interesting is on the needle itself, it feels like there's a tiny bit of grabbiness, but like not like wood grabbiness, but what, and I really like this. It just feels like, so like I'm secure. It doesn't feel like it's a bad kind of grabby. And one of the other things that I love about Knitter's Pride is they inscribe the information. Oh, that's a horrible picture. Information about each needle on here. So like this is a US size 4, 3.5 millimeter. Inscribed on here. Should never come off. I've never had it come off on Knitter's Pride before. And I love Knitter's Pride. So I'm excited about that. So I bought that. And I actually intended to use these on my sweater. But I wasn't thinking, and I cast it on using it for my Find Your Fade. So, I might, I have my Hi-Hayas. Why don't I break out my Hi-Hayas? I might just do that. Oh, and I wanted to point out that it came with these interesting wooden earrings. Oops. With the set. I don't know. Should we try it on? Let's see. Take off one of these guys. And put on, let's see, I think the blue would be a better fit. Oh, this one got damaged somehow. And I'm just damaging it more. I don't know. Well, hey, that's kind of fun. Here, let's try the other one and see what it feels like. And wow, these are really lightweight, actually. I'm always scared of... Uh-oh, this is not coming off. I'm always scared of larger earrings, the dangly type, because I always think that they're going to be so incredibly heavy, right? And cumbersome. Oh, maybe it wasn't deformed. Maybe that's how they both come. And I'm deforming them myself. So, there you are, guys. I'm your model. You know what? I'm going to leave them on. There you go. Who knows? Maybe I'll actually wear these. I have very sensitive ears, so if these aren't like, these are nickel, that's going to be bad. But they are pretty. And my husband and I, when we opened the package and we saw these earrings, we were like, huh? Why are earrings coming with needle sets? But, hey, I ain't gonna complain. But there you go. So our last section is for consultation. And I'm just gonna say here that I spent a lot of time over the last few weeks, about a month honestly, contemplating what my intentions, living intentionally means to me in the realm of knitting. And I wrote a blog post while I was down at Seaside, and I didn't publish it. I don't know why, but I didn't. So I'm not going to publish it today because that would be odd to have my blog post about the episode coming out the same day as a regular blog post. So I'm going to publish that next week. So if you guys want to read that, I really go into things like my relationship with knitting, and also my goals. I really thought out, like, what do I want to accomplish this year in my knitting life. So things like, as far as techniques, like I really want to conquer brioche. I really want to work on Fair Isle knitting some more because I really enjoy it. And really just exploring. I found today even a new pattern for a pair of socks using a technique that looks like it's just gorgeous. Anyway, I won't get into it. Sorry, but I'm gonna knit that for one of my sisters for their birthday, and those socks, and I'm really excited about that. And anyway, so go and look. Sorry about all the ahs today. Maybe that should be the drinking game. Emily, you already just said 2 ahs. Take 2 sips of water, please. And I just squirted. There we go. You guys didn't see me licking my hand like a cat. Sorry, I have water all over me now. Okay, so I'm going to post that. My husband said I was really eloquent. I was like, oh, thank you, honey. I did get a good degree in English, so, I hope that I know how to write. I find that I can get kind of impatient sometimes when I'm writing my blog post for the podcast. And so I don't know why that is. In most of my other writing life, I don't get impatient, and I find myself like loving the flow. But when I write the blog up for the podcast, I find myself getting impatient with that process. But I didn't when I was writing up the blog post for the knitting intentionally. So I find that interesting. I'm gonna kind of contemplate what's going on there with me in my mind and my emotions, but I'm not really positive. But it is what it is. I still have, a fair amount of stuff on the blog post for the podcast, but anyway, so I'm gonna stop going on. But be looking forward to that. And yeah, I think that's about it for today. I don't know how long this podcast is, but I hope you guys all enjoy it, and I hope you come back and visit us again soon. And just so you know, it's not going to be on this podcast, but I do have a theme song in the works. I've commissioned it from somebody that's near and dear to my heart, but I won't get into that right now. So we'll see when that comes along. I'll have a grand opening with it and everything, and you guys will get to see, and I know it's going to be wonderful. So enjoy the video footage for this week and the pictures, and I love you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Knit on, everybody!